I want to give all praise to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles and the bishops at Great Millstone who labor night and day, making sure that the sheep are well fed, 144,000 hopeful elect. Even those that might look like these other nations, but are in fact of the 144,000 hopeful elect. Peace and salutations to all the men that's in GMS Great Millstone, who go out there on the highways and hedges, who make videos, who bring out this truth, because we are searching for the hopeful elect. Peace and salutations to the Aqua, who are listening in silence, doing as the scriptures command. Peace and salutations to all the believers and supporters of this truth, and who believe in this truth. This is message is whether you hear or you forbear. If you hear it, better hear it. If not, well, hey, may the destruction come upon you swiftly. But these videos are for the hopeful elect only. So, hope that this lesson is edifying to all the Akim. Shalom. As you can see, this is talking about the regime, as they call it, about the Iranians. They had the hostages. Now, I noticed on Fox News, they want to talk about how, they took these Americans and stuff like that. But they don't want to bring out how when there was the black people over there, they released them. They don't want to talk about that. But let's let this play so we can see the propaganda. This video is fair use, even though y'all gonna give me a copy straight. Anyway, it don't even matter anymore. Fair use, fair use. This video was used for educational purpose. It's not used for any gain or making any money, because the economy gonna crash. So even if I have money, where am I gonna spend it? Yeah, the money's gonna be gone. We in these last few hours. So let's not waste no time. Let's let this video play, and we're gonna go from there.
And held for 444 days, including more than a month in solitary confinement. Today, he's running for Congress in Wisconsin's 7th District, and he joins us now. Kevin, thanks for being here. We all should point out that for hours you held out and destroyed top secret information that would have fallen into this rogue government's hands, correct?
Well, precisely, and my colleagues, they did a terrific job in denying the Iranians on the first hours, the ability to torture my colleagues even more than they already did. And we've seen this game before. The Iranian regime has pushed out terrorism not only across the world, killing and maiming and injuring Americans in our efforts to bring peace throughout the...
Hold on, man. He said killing and maiming Americans. Man. Now he talking. This is their story, man. Hold on, man. This is their story, man. Yo, man. Let me show it. What does it say right there? Anyone can look this up. And the crazy thing about this is that people was doing videos before they did a video on this. That's the crazy thing. What does this say? 1 day ago. All right. So when I post this video, it's either going to show 1 day ago or 2 days ago, because YouTube likes to make my videos load slow. And I got to turn off my phone and load it up and all this other nonsense because they keep messing with the videos. So let's let it continue to play so we can go from there. And it's beautiful how, you know, when it shows that it's look at the days. Come on now. That's beautiful right there. And it's a 4 favorite number. Let's go into it.
Taken hostage by Iranian students and held for 444 days, including more than a month in solitary confinement. Today, he's running for Congress in Wisconsin's 7th District, and he joins us now. Kevin, thanks for being here. We all should point out that for hours you...
So we all pray not only for the men and women who are standing in harm's way today, halfway around the world, and we also hope that the Iranian people are finally going to have their chance at pursuing their own version of a liberal democracy.
Kevin, as you get prepared to run for office, Iran is now the top story on every news organization in the country. Did you ever think in 1979 they'd go 47 years without ever paying the price for what they did to you and what they did in the 83 barrack bombing and everything since? Did you ever think it would last this long?
No, not really, but there have been a lot of governments across the world that have enabled the Iranian regime to pursue their brand of
And this would happen in 1979.
Terrorism across the globe.
Now let's speed this up,
came out
man.
yesterday or the day before.
Studied the regime. I've studied the corrupted, and hopefully our allies such as Saudi Arabia are going to push the oil to the west,
Now, see,
over to the Red Sea, and that will diminish even more the Iranians' ability to disrupt the economy.
See, they had this man captive for that many days. See, look what it says. I mean, let's read this well. Former Iranian hostage recounts 444 days in captivity ahead of congressional run. They had this man as a hostage. Now, see, y'all should have just been quiet, man, and just said nothing. But y'all can't help it. I mean, no, come on, man. Let's look at the lips, man. There's no lips right there. Nothing. Nothing. Letting you know he's spewing lies. No lips. I don't see no lips. And someone's going to say, well, why do you want to talk about the guy's lips? Because it's telling you that he's telling you lies. But they didn't want to release him. But they did release somebody. And someone's. Let's go into that. See, I was going to leave this alone, but I wanted to put it on the Fox News. So I said, oh, well, fuck it. Now, see, this right here. I'm going to show you all. Now, this is Willie D. If you don't know him, for those that's a little bit, it all depends, man. If you don't, if you like, the old school rap, you might know. But if you grew up during that time, you already know who this is. This is Willie D from the Ghetto Boys with Scarface. You know what I'm saying? In the Face Mob. So it's Willie D. Salakia, forgive me. He talked about the history of the Iran hostage, and he explained it. This is why Black Americans were released untold 1979 history. And the real reason why they was released, because the Iranians felt like these black people had been through so much. They did not need to go through any of that. But see, as you see with Fox News, they're not going to mention that, because it shows that these Edomites are just all corrupt. And you see more of it. You see? Forgotten connection, Iranian and Black Americans. You see? See, they kept the Edomites and released the so-called Black Americans, which really are the Israelites. They released them because, see, they knew the history that was being done to the so-called black people. And see, and this is why some people have problems, you know. I talk to some people and their minds is just really corrupted. You know, you ask people, you know, why did, you know, how come America gets to go and govern someone else's country and someone can't govern them? And they say, well, because they're terrorists. So you're gonna say that they're terrorists, but you can't call America a terrorist. And you know the sad thing about that is that some of that comes from our own people. You know. But I'm gonna just let this see. This is the golden one. Because the reason why this is the golden one, because he has on a military uniform, wife and kid. It's a lot of videos out there, but this is the golden one. And see, this one on this channel, whatever this channel is, all right, right there. This is how many views it is, and this was 9 years ago, when this stuff really wasn't as considered to be relevant. And this talks about the hostage situation that happened in Iran. So you hear on Fox 5, well, not Fox 5, but the news Fox, that they try to say what they're talking about. And you see what they show, but they don't want to show how the blacks.
It can be scary. Sergeant Hughes, a clerk typist by trade, had been in Tehran about 4 weeks and was scheduled to leave in 5 days when Iranian students took over the embassy. In captivity, he thought about his wife and kids often, wondered whether he'd see them again, so he was naturally happy to be back home.
Feels good. I think anything ever feels good.
Hughes said that while a prisoner, his hands were often tied.
Knows he got lips.
Conversations with fellow hostages were limited, but overall, his treatment, he claimed, was fair.
Food was food. You couldn't say no more than that about
it. Food was food.
It was okay.
Hughes says he was delighted to be set free, that after 16 days it was time to go, but he regretted leaving others behind.
That was a hard thing to do, you know, to leave and know you're going to leave 49 of your, well, I had been there long enough to call them friends.
Hughes, who has been through several debriefings since his release, would not comment on the mood of his former captors, what President Carter should do, or even on what he could or could not talk about. He said he'll rest now and wait for the Air Force to tell him where he goes next. Sergeant Hughes says demonstrations were routine in Iran, but he never thought one would turn into an attack on the embassy. The whole world was surprised by what happened, he said, and so was I. Joel Rubin, Area 10 Eyewitness News, Newport News.
That black folks was not running the show. That's what that was about. In their own words, they stated that none of what's happening was the fault of black people, and that black people in America were already oppressed enough in their own country. Did you know, during the 1979 hostage crisis, Iran released all 13 black American hostages and kept everybody else? It's because they recognized that black folks was not running the show. That's what that was about. In their own words, they stated that none of what's happening was the fault of black people, and that black people in America were already oppressed enough in their own country. Did you know, during the
And this is more stuff, man. I really honestly wasn't going to bring any of this stuff out, but I said, man, you know, bring it out, man. Since all this stuff going on, man, gotta put it on a skillet. You heard me? So, all right. So this is what this is. You see Tucker Carlson. All right. All right. And you also see this. See, the thing is, if Fox News is going to talk about stuff, man, And y'all gonna talk about bombs and stuff like that, and with the bombers, Iranians, and all this stuff. And why don't you just go all the way? This is why a lot of people, when Hillary Clinton was saying, "Yeah, we're losing the war on news." Yeah, the war on news. We can't control the news. Yeah. You know why you can't control the news? Because people don't want to hear that nonsense anymore. We know that you are controlling the news. We know that. And I'm going to try to prove that before this thing times out. See what I'm saying? DNA test, Zionism, and U.S. power. See, I tried to explain this to someone, but I mean, they just really could not get it. Because it's not meant for everybody to get. It's not meant for everybody to get. And what people don't realize, if you DNA test, all right? If you DNA test, you can look at all these videos, man. If you DNA test these people, all right? You DNA test them. And if their DNA doesn't go back to that land, that means that these are not the people of that land. That means these 1948ers was instated to be those people in that land. And the people of Iran say that that's their land. That's not their land either. That means the people that of Israel were the same people that went into slavery and was out of that land. So that means what the Bible talks about, these people being in the land that is not of their land, are these people. It shows you the real reason why we are at war. Because the United States want people to believe that these are the people. And they want people to believe that they are the people, when they are not the people of that land. That's why they don't want a DNA test. That's why when they talk about the Khazars and stuff like that, and they say that the seed line comes through the mother because their DNA doesn't match. It does not match. You see, all this craziness is going on the internet, but people don't understand. And like I was trying to explain to someone, being genuine, about it. Just imagine, you got people going to war, and you got people saying that these are the people of the land when they're not the people of the land. And then you got the people saying that they are not the people of the land, but they're not the people of the land. The Iranians are not the people of the land, and these ones that's over there in Israel are not the people of the land. See, that's why. I mean, look, I didn't make this post right here. I didn't make this. This guy right here made it, but he questioned it. I mean, y'all like to go to Ancestry.com and all that, stuff. Y'all like to do that. So if the stuff ain't matching up, it ain't matching up. That means all this war is for nothing. But this is stuff that has to happen. That's why in the book of Revelations they talk about they are the synagogue of Satan. Those that call themselves this, but they are not. You see what I'm saying? And you got Israelites who call themselves this too. But they're out there being a 2/3 and fumbling around and not doing what they're supposed to do. So therefore, they're like that too. I really didn't want to go into this, but I'm gonna try to make it quick. This is Genesis chapter 2:19. And out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the earth, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called Salakia, every living creature that was the name thereof. Right? This is showing that Adam. This is showing you that Adam was in the garden, right? He named He named the animals. But this is also showing you something more. This is Genesis 2:7. And the Lord formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living creature. See, people like to always talk about how he named the animals and stuff like that, but they want to skip this part. That's why I said the other part first. They want to skip this part because they don't want to show that man came from the dust of the ground. See, I just put rich dirt. Some people might say rich soil, rich ground, whatever. When you look at this, we was formed from this. And the reason why this is so beautiful is to show you the power of a creator. That he could form you from this. From this. He's the potter and we the clay. See, all rich soil grows on dark hue. It grows on dark hue. So if that is the case, how do you get the hand which is holding it? How do you get that? It's called albinism. It's called albinism. That's how. Albinism, man. There are clean leopards, man. Clean leopards. Some people don't want the truth, and that's okay. This is only for the hopeful elect. I'm not gonna make this lesson be long. With that being said, Shalom.